I'll call this regular board meeting of the West Basin Municipal Water District to order. And please have the general manager determine the quorum.
Yes, Mr. President. Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Favai. Here. Director Desi Alvarez.
Here.
Director Scott Houston.
Here.
President Don Deere.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All those people who are able to do so, please stand and join in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. I want to ask my fellow board members, there's been a request to have a closed session early in the meetings, right after the, I guess the presentation, after the presentations. If there's no objection, we will then do so. All right, we're going to do that. And we're now under public comment.
Mr. President, we have not received any requests for public comment prior to this meeting, though this meeting is being held both in person and virtually. If there's any member of the public that would like to speak under public comment, please indicate so by raising your virtual hand. Mr. President, I do not see requests in the room nor online.
Okay, we'll go on to the next item on the agenda, presentations. And we have the 2026 Student Art Contest Award.
Yes,
Be in charge of that.
Mr. President, I'm happy to introduce Fritz Petropoulos, our Public Information Specialist, to kick this off. So, Fritz, it's all yours.
Thank you, General Manager. Thank you, President Deere and members of the board. Happy Earth Month, everyone. Every year, West Basin conducts one of its signature water education programs, the Being Water Wise Student Contest. This year's theme challenged students from grades 3 to 12 to create original artwork that depicts the wise use of water in our homes and communities. Local students submitted almost 400 pieces of beautiful art. These submissions came from public and private schools in the West Basin service area. The stellar quality of the artwork made it difficult for the judges to select the winning pieces. I would like to express appreciation for the support of teachers and school administrators, many of whom are here today, who taught their students about the importance of water. I'd also like to thank our students' family members who supported their children's efforts. West Basin would also like to express appreciation to our program sponsors, whose general financial contribution made this education program possible. Best in Krieger, the Water Replenishment District, and Jacobs. Now, we'd like to recognize the students whose artwork rose above the rest with their creative water conservation messages and beautiful artistry. Their artwork will be reproduced in many of our promotional outreach efforts and move on to a regional art contest with the Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. West Basin is proud to celebrate and uplift the art and voices of our young people as they promote water efficiency throughout the region. Students, when we call your name, please step forward with your artwork to collect your certificate and prize for a photo with the director. And all photos will be shared with teachers and families post-ceremony. So just a little guidance. What we'll do is we'll have the students hold the artwork, directors, you will hold the certificate, and then students will have you step to the side, and then we'll take individual photos first, step to the side, next individual photo, step to the side, then the third, and then the 3 division winners with their director and the program teams. And I'll be there to guide you through everything. Okay. So our honorable mention winning artists will each receive an iPad and a West Basin gift bag. And Director Fabai, will you do us the honor by recognizing the artists from West Basin Division 1?
Yes. Thank you, Fritz. My name is Tommy Favai, and it's a pleasure to recognize the young artists residing in Division 1. And thank you for being here today. First off, I wanted to mention elementary school. Honorable mention award goes to Annie Chang, grade 5th, Cornerstone School, Petrico / Soul Arts Academy in Rolling Hills Estates.
One, two, and three. One, two, and three. Thank you. Yeah.
And our second young artist, is from the middle school of Ridgecrest Intermediate School and Soul Arts Academy in Rancho Palos Verdes. Isabel. Yo. So, Isabel Zoe, can you please come up? Great.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And in our next high school honorable mention award goes to Katie Petrita, grade 12, Academy of Medical Arts at Carson High School.
2, 3. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
A group photo with the three of you. Hold your certificates.
So Director, you're gonna have you right here in the middle, and then I'll have you come on either sides. So if you come on this side, here. Okay, and let me squeeze just then. Yeah, good. Perfect. Yeah. More closer. All right, ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I have wonderful news. While Director Gloria Gray was not able to be here in person, she has joined us online. Director Gray, would you like to say any words before we present the awards?
Oh, thank you for acknowledging that I am here online and want to congratulate all the winners and look forward to the actual program. So thank you.
On behalf of Director Gray, I'm happy to present the honorable mention awards to 2 or 3 artists from Division 2. Joanna Munoz in 5th grade from Oak Street Elementary School in Inglewood was not able to be here today, but we will present her award to her school tomorrow. Our middle school honorable mention award goes to Michaela Walker, an 8th grader from Frank D. Parent School in Inglewood.
1, 2, 3. Oh, thank you.
And I'd like to present our high school honorable mention award to Kyla Avalos, grade 11 from Animo Inglewood High School in Inglewood.
Quick one for you. Just because it's a director laptop, I don't know if Ryan
One,
told you that he was
two,
working
and
on
three.
Houston's computer.
Great. Thank you.
On director,
And
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So I'll have you come. Come on the other side of our general manager. And, yep, right there. Perfect. And then hold it just about right here. Great. On the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Congratulations.
by Director Alvarez to recognize the artists from Division 3.
Good afternoon. My name is Desi Alvarez, and I represent Division 3 in the Beach Cities. And it's a pleasure to be here today, and we have some beautiful art that we've looked at. We've seen a lot of art, and it's very, very pleasing to see that we have this many creative people, kids coming up. Fantastic. It's been amazing. To see. So for honorable mention from Division 3, we're going to start out with Mia Lee in grade 5 at Alta Vista Elementary School. I'm sorry.
Just a little higher. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
Then moving on, middle school honorable mention award goes to Carolina Goddard at Manhattan Beach Middle School. And to wrap it up, the high school honorable mention award goes to Elizabeth Lee at West High, Great Falls, West High.
And we're gonna grab group photo here. The director, I want to stay in the middle right here. Yes, and then one out. Perfect. Good. Okay, ready? 1, 2, and 3. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Now I'd like to invite Director Houston to recognize the artists from Division 4.
Good.
Happy Earth Day or Happy Earth Month, everyone. Thank you for being here. This is actually one of our funnest times of the year. I know a lot of you probably have not been to the Water District office, so thank you for being here again. And I'm Scott Houston. I represent Division 4 of the West Basin Service Area. And I have two honorable mentions to present. So the first one is from Ellery Home Elementary School in Colby City, 5th grade, Paige Gofresio.
One, two, three. Thank you.
And then high school honorable mention award from Hawthorne High School in grade 12, Miguel Perez.
All right. One, two, three. You hold your, yeah, there you go. Just a little straighter. One. Two. Thank you.
Able to.
Group photo, stop and position this side. Great. Okay. Perfect. One, two, and three. Smile. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you got stuff for you. Congratulations. And I would like to invite our president, Director Deere, to recognize the artists of the Division 5.
Thank you. I'll do that from here. And we'll ask the winners to come around behind here. What is easier for you? And my name is Don Deere, and I'm the Director of Division 5 of the Water Board. And please present the following awards. The elementary school honorable mention award goes to Mina Esabel, grade 4. Congratulations. Yeah. Let's do it so the pictures can be.
You want me to go
Yeah,
this way? Okay.
that's the easiest one. So if you stand next to me, put it up where they can be seen.
Okay. Count of three. One, two, and three. And Director, if you drop that, there you go. I can see more of your face. Thank you. One, two. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. The middle school honorable mention award goes to Priscilla Mulhoney, grade 6.
All right. And then there. One, two, and three. Thank you. Right over here.
Congratulations. Here. The high school honorable mention award goes to Elena Hernandez.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Let me squeeze on in there. Just this tack. Okay. Perfect. One, two, and three. And then just tilt your photo back. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. And then we're gonna do group photo.
You get this too. Congratulations.
I'm gonna hold that for you, Leona. So we're gonna do a group photo, so we can turn to the right. And we're gonna have maybe one on this side.
Yeah, I'll have, you come here, I'll have you come around this way, and then you'll come, sorry, you'll come switch. There you go. And then you'll come this way here, right, squeeze in up, closer, closer, closer. Great, and then you'll have to hold yours just a little higher. Okay, perfect. That's great. And then tilt it just forward a bit, so there's not a glare. Okay, thank you. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. Perfect.
Thank you. Rich will return to announce the grand prize winners. When these young ladies get back to school, I hope we'll all help the boys learn how to draw too, okay?
Well, you can see what beautiful pieces of artwork we had as our finalists. But I am now pleased to recognize our 3 grand prize winners, who will also be awarded an Apple Pencil to accompany your iPad and a $25 gift card in addition to your gift bag. As I call your name, please step forward with your artwork. The elementary school grand prize award goes to Division 5, Nina Esabel, grade 4 from North Plain Elementary. Hey, the middle school grand prize award goes to Division 3, Catalina Goddard, 8th grader from our high school grand prize award goes to Division 5, Eliana Hernandez.
No, go it into the center. Raise up the PowerPoint.
So,
Then we'll have all the directors if you want to take the group.
Stand up here.
Yeah.
The projection wall.
2 winners from Division 5. That's fantastic. I'm really proud of you.
Erin, you got the podium.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no.
There you go. There you go. I got this thing too. Thank you so much.
Can we take a picture today? One, two. I can take photos too.
All right, thank you, congratulations.
Hawthorne High, right? So I thought you were a former student of mine, but no.
I keep
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Right there.
Took a picture of the mom. It's just.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll be right with you.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we can work.
Yeah, no, right here with Phil Logue. Oh,
I see.
That's fine. Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, there you go. She won the last one.
Any. Oh, Bessie. We didn't believe it.
Oh, yeah. You send that email or it's in your-
We can do that. Yeah.
Oh, you should.
You mean the meeting? Go ahead.
Did they already do?
We're back in. Items.
You told me.
¿Ya te lo mandaron con tu cuadrito? Está bien.
Thank you. Item 15,
Yes, I will just report publicly, there's no action taken pursuant to Brown Act in closed session.
thank you. So now we're back on our regular agenda.
Go to one.
That would be. Okay, so 6 items to be agendized against Bergman
Staff has no item to the agenda.
and our consent calendar. Does anyone want to pull any item on the consent calendar? Make a motion for all of them?
Move that for the consent calendar.
Second. Moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar in its entirety. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
No?
Um,
Martha, just one aye and one So let's start over
no,
again.
I'm voting yes on all items in the consent calendar with the exception of item 7B. 7B, 1, 2, 3 is a no.
7.
You know that.
And I'll vote yes.
Now vote yes on all the items. So the items pass.
No engineering club.
Does he?
Community outreach. All the ones that Director Gray and I wanted. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Lawyers. That is passed. We'll go on to the next agenda item. Mr.
Yes.
Manager.
Yes, Mr. President, item 8A on our action calendar is approval process for LAPCO Special District Voting Member Election. And for this presentation, we have Desiree Quintero, our Manager of Administration. And this item begins on packet page 192.
Yes, thank you, DJ. Good afternoon, Director. LAFCO is a public agency with county-wide jurisdiction established by California law to discourage urban sprawl and to encourage orderly and efficient provision of services such as water, sewer, and fire protection. LAFCO is responsible for overseeing the changes to local government boundaries involving the formation and expansion of cities and special districts. The commission is comprised of 9 members and 6 alternates. President Donald Deere currently serves as one of the special district representatives to LAFCO. By law, independent special district seats on LAFCO are filled by the Special District Selection Committee. That committee is made up of the presiding officers of each independent special district in Los Angeles County. West Basin has received an election ballot, which can be found included as attachment A on page 195. The ballot lists the following candidates for special district LAFCO voting member. Gary Burns of the Los Viernes Municipal Water District. Vera Robles DeWitt, Water Replenishment District of Southern California. Robert W. Lewis of Roland Water District. Per the Administrative Code, Section 2-1.303A7, with regard to the election of LAFCO directors and alternate directors, the president will act as instructed by a majority of the board. As such, staff recommends that the board authorize the president to cast a vote for one candidate to be special district voting member for the Los Angeles County LAFCO. That concludes my report. I am happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Let me just say to my colleagues, serving on the board now as its chair, Robert Lewis is a definite asset to the board. I would strongly urge that we re-elect him. So motion.
I will move the staff recommendation to authorize the board president to cast the vote.
And I second that.
The motion is for Robert Lewis, correct, gentlemen?
Yes.
Whatever your decision.
That's fine. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Kavai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez.
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
President Don Deere.
Yes. And that motion passes.
That brings us to item 8B, approval of sponsorship for fiscal year 2025-2026 community outreach events. For this presentation, we have Hazel Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary 2.
EJ, good afternoon, President Deere, members of the board. This item begins on packet page 205, and I have two requests for your consideration today. The first one, the city of Hawthorne is hosting the Mother's Day brunch and award ceremony on Saturday, May 9th, 2026. At this time, President Deere and Director Gray recommend sponsoring the Mother's Day brunch for $1,000. If approved, that sponsorship would grant West Basin a full-page advertisement in the event program booklet, as well as logo placement on event materials. West Basin previously sponsored this event in 2024 when we received an advertisement for a similar $1,000 sponsorship. The documents submitted for this year's request are included in attachment A, and you can find those beginning on packet page 208. The second request for your consideration is for the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce, who are hosting their Stars and Strides 5K event on Saturday, May 16, 2026. For this event, Director Houston recommends sponsorship in the amount of $200, and if approved, that would grant West Basin a booth at the event. West Basin previously sponsored this event last year in 2025 for $200, and we received a booth where staff engaged with approximately 135 residents. Documents submitted for this year's request are included in attachment B beginning on packet page 212. Then moving on to packet page 206, just going over the budget for this program. Approving these requests at the right Tuesday, which total $1,200, would leave a remaining balance of $850 as shown in attachment C beginning on packet page 220. And with that, I will read the recommendation. Number one, President Deere and Director Gray recommend that the board approve sponsorship of the Mother's Day brunch and award ceremony on Saturday, May 9th, 2026 for $1,000. And number two, Director Houston recommends that the board approve sponsorship of the Torrance Area Chamber of Commerce's Stars and Strides 5K event on Saturday, May 16, 2026 for $200. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Oh, any questions? I'll move that we approve this to recommend the recommendation.
Second.
Right, we don't have to, we will call something if not. We do. All right, please call roll on the matter.
Director Gordon Gray, Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez, Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
Director Don Deere.
Yes. And so the motion passes and then all the recommendation is approved. We'll go on item A, B, C, D now. All right, are we D or C?
We are C.
Or it's C. C.
Thank you very much, President Deere. This item is a travel activity update and budget consideration for the fourth quarter fiscal year of 2025-2026 item. Ultimately, I am seeking a budget increase to the West Basin staff travel budget for this fiscal year, ultimately totaling an additional $22,000. Let me first begin by letting you know that this was definitely not anticipated by myself or executive management this year. West Basin has, over the past several years, really encouraged the West Basin team to get engaged in our industry, especially when it comes to leadership positions. With this in mind, we have carried on through the year with our normal participation with organizations and conferences throughout the year. I've seen no significant increase in the number of people traveling, though we are playing a more increased role within those organizations. The one thing that we have seen are significant increases to the total cost of travel. This, of course, includes the cost of all of our conferences have had a significant jump. We've seen increases in airfare, we've seen increases in hotels, and we've seen increases in transportation. And so as we approach the month of May, if travel were to continue as planned, where West Basin staff would be attending the Aqua travel or Aqua conference, as well as a finance conference and a few others, we would be well over budget. With this in mind, I wanted to bring this to you as soon as possible to request an increase in the budget. As noted in the board memo, originally we were seeking an increase of $34,000. I want to say thank you very much to our management team. We have been working from the top down, asking for those that were seeking to attend conferences to potentially cancel those trips this year. We do have, I believe, 3 trips to the ACWA, the Association of California Water Agencies, that we've agreed to cancel. And then we also have 2 cancellations to, and when
GFOA Government Financial Officers Association.
Yes. And so we've seen an $11,000 decrease in potentially just those 5,000 conference or 5 conferences. If that gives you an idea of the steep cost of attending these conferences. So with that, I am requesting an increase in our total budget for staff in the amount of $22,000. And I believe that would, when you
That's not in this.
correct, I've changed the request because I've been able to reduce the amount of funding that would be needed.
It's 22,000 now?
It's 22,000 down from the 34,000.
Any questions? Deji?
So the 22,000 is needed for conferences that are still upcoming. If we just said we're out of the budget, then everything would be frozen.
That is correct. It's worth noting, though, we do have a couple of staff members that are committee members of the Association of California Water Agencies. So that would typically be mandatory at that conference, though we could potentially reduce the number of people that would be attending it. We do have, again, a director for AWWA seeking to attend that conference. So I highlight these things because I want you to know that what I've tried to do is work with the team to kind of scrutinize all of our costs and expenditures, making sure that we were allocating any resources for specific purposes. And so what I've tried to do is cut that back so that only people attending these conferences are playing roles in those conferences that they're attending.
What is the process for staff attending conferences?
So I've taken a pretty simplistic approach to it. What I've told staff is when they want to get engaged in an organization, the number one way is to actively get engaged, participating, whether it be in committees or potential board activities there. Number two is to obviously present at a conference, which West Basin takes a great deal of pride in. Over this past year, we've had a number of different staff members attend conferences and present. And the third is a specific issue or area where West Basin really wants to focus in on. So if a staff member can come and present the agenda of that conference and they say, I really want to go see this because it's going to help me actively do my job or improve my, not just a performance, because I think we have great performance, but areas kind of expertise. So those are those 3 factors that I look for when anybody requests to travel. And I believe that our managers and supervisors are asking the same thing of staff.
So when we approve a budget, our general budget, and approve a travel budget for staff, that budget doesn't include already specific staff member actions who attend AWWA, staff member Ys who attend AQUA, etc.
That is correct. And Wendy, maybe you can help me out here. That I think is part of the problem is that as conferences and costs have gone up, we haven't really looked at how we configure that number. And I don't believe that we've increased that budget number. Is that correct? Or
We haven't increased it in quite some time, but on Friday, I do have a presentation to increase the number for the travel budget.
Maybe we'll talk a bit more on Friday, given where we are today. I don't want to belabor the point, but at least when I was on that side of the fence, travel budget for staff was usually everybody put in, and it was part of the budget, and you knew you were either going to get to attend one conference or not, and it was never open-ended. And it sounds like we have more of an open-ended process.
it is open-ended, but I would say is open-ended is a great term. Fluid would be another. When we sponsor different events, we get a number of different free conference attendance. As you would say, nothing comes for free. So when you get a free conference registration, that you still have to travel, you still have to do the hotel and everything like that. So we try to maximize the value of all of those conference registrations. And then, and I have to say, I'm very pleased to see this, but West Basin has really been engaged in the industry. We have more staff members serving on boards and commissions and committees than ever before. And so I want to see that continue to progress. And then lastly, the number of presentations that we've been doing at conferences, I think, has been increasing over the last 2 years. So I'm very pleased to see that, but it comes with those costs. And so obviously you don't know that you're presenting at a conference until a certain period. And so there are issues there where we try to keep up with what our needs are, but we can definitely do a better job in seeing how this process played out. It really shined a light on that.
Sometimes just because something is free that's not beneficial to take advantage of, because nothing is free. All right,
No,
no,
I'll move the item.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded to pass the recommendation and pay the additional monies. All those in favor? Oh, we're gonna call the roll.
Yes, Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
yes,
and President Don Deere.
Yes, and the motion passes. Item 8C passes. Item 8D.
Yes, item 8D is to adopt a resolution number 04261232, amend administrative code district holidays for the Farm Workers Day. And for this presentation, we have Hazel Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary.
EJ, this item was previously presented at the F&A committee, so I will be
Excuse me, a little louder, please.
here. This item was previously presented at the F&A committee earlier in the month, so I will be brief with my presentation here, and we'll just cover a couple of points. So due to recent allegations, Speaker of the Assembly, Robert Rivas, and Senate President Pro Tem Monique Limon introduced AB 2156 to designate March 31st as Farm Workers Day. On March 26th, Governor Newsom signed Assembly Bill 2156 into law, officially renaming that state holiday on March 31st from Cesar Chavez Day to Farm Workers Day. In order to align with that change, we would like to recommend changing the Cesar Chavez birthday that we observe on the last Monday in March to reflect Farm Workers Day as well. And so with that, I will read the recommendation that the board adopt resolution number 04261232, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the West Basin Municipal Water District, amending the West Basin Municipal Water District Administrative Code as it relates to district holidays. With that,
Any questions, or is there a motion to approve?
I have a question.
I'll make the motion to approve. Go ahead.
Second.
And the second is there. Thank you. We'll go on, please.
Do we have to name it Farm Workers Day?
we do
Because
not.
it's a state holiday now, or?
We do not necessarily, but again, just to align with the reason we do observe that is in line with the state holidays. So being that at the state level, it has changed over to Farm Workers Day, we felt it was most appropriate to change it as well.
It's
Was
a
there-
politically correct action. That's what it is.
Well, there may be other politically correct action. At
Okay.
the F&A committee, since this was passed to the board, was there discussion about other possible holidays that we could name it?
There
Like
was,
Spanish Heritage Month, Latino Heritage Day, something else like that, that may be recognizing a wider group than just farm workers, although.
there was not.
Chair, can I address what Director Alvarez is mentioning? Because
Sure.
I think we should also remember, Director Alvarez, is that in order for these resolutions to pass through state legislation, they have to work with the unions, with the United Farm Workers. And currently, what they went through a process to change the, the wording on that. And they, and this is what they have come up with, and they shared it with the legislators at the state level. So I think we should respect that, their wishes, especially the union that actually, changed the, the wording on it. And yeah, I just want to make make a point of that because obviously the state legislature is not going to make a decision on changing without bringing the union in and talking to everyone that's involved with this process on moving it forward at the state legislative field. So I just want to make a point about that.
But
Jesse?
there are other possibilities. My only question was, we're not bound to name it Farm Workers Day because the state did.
I think we should be consistent and aligned with the state and how the state addresses and whether it's addressed at the local level too.
Let me call this, your arguments tell me they're now repetitive and we are wasting time. So let's call a roll of the motion.
Okay, you're the president.
Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
President Don Dewar.
Yes, and the motion passes and the name change is now made. Move on to the next item. And thank you. That would be item, what are we on, E now?
That's correct. Item 8E is adopt resolution number 04261233, general election services. And for this presentation, we have Hazel Vasquez, our Deputy Board Secretary 2. And this item begins on packet page 234.
EJ, similar to the previous item, this resolution did go through committee earlier in the month. So similarly, I will be brief, as is normal with our election procedures that are held every 2 years. We submit this resolution to the county requesting that they render election services for our election that in this case will be for seats in Division 1, Division 2, and Division 4. So in submitting this would consolidate our election with the general election in November. And again, it is just to request that the Board of Supervisors of LA County authorize the county clerk to render those election services on our behalf and include those 3 elections or divisions on the ballot in November. So with that, I will read the recommendation that the board adopt resolution number 04261233, a resolution of the Board of Directors of the West Basin Municipal Water District requesting the Board of Supervisors of the County of Los Angeles to permit the registrar recorder / county clerk to render election services for an election to be held on November 3rd, 2026. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
President Don Dewar.
Yes. And the motion passes. So we'll have the election. Well, now, item. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. President. Item F is to amend agreement for construction management services for the Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility Solids Handling Improvements Project, CIP 10059. This item was heard by the Engineering and Operations Committee and was moved forward with a recommendation to split the recommendation into 2 parts. And it did not receive a consensus from the committee. And so with that, I have Veronica Govea here for the presentation.
Good afternoon, directors. This item starts on your page number 239, but the presentation, you can please follow me to the presentation, which starts on 248. Yes, and the solids handling project is a project that currently is on a schedule and within budget. The team has been proven to work together very well, and we're moving forward to a final completion early next year. The project itself includes just to give you a general idea, the installation of, well, not installation of 2 new tanks, but it's basically the replacement of 2 tanks, as well as some pumps replacement that are for water, for some acid, some other ancillaries and equipment, PLC workstation replacement. As part of the project, initially we're looking into also installing a truck scale. Unfortunately, we are actually looking into that item again, and we are going to be leading it from the project due to some construction issues to get that installed. However, we're working with the contractor to get a credit for that particular line item. Next slide, please. This slide just also shows some of the work that is going to be part of the solids handling project, which includes some of the mechanical components as well as the refurbishment, sorry, of filter plates. Next slide. Along with the project, we're, like as I mentioned, we're doing progress. These are just some pictures from current construction. They are as well as the quality control that is being kept. They're doing the gauging to make sure that the coating is of the correct thickness. And on your right-hand side, you can see some of the installation of the recorded filter press plates. Next slide, please. This one is just, again, some other pictures of the progress ongoing for the changes on pumps and piping and some hydraulic units. Next slide. And this is a picture that probably we should, keep for our historian, because these are probably the cleanest that we're going to see that cloth installation at some point. Into the next page, please. So to give you a quick summary of what the project entitles, Kiewit Construction is the contractor that was awarded the project. There was an administrative notice to proceed that was issued on June 9th, and a little bit over 30 days after, there was a construction notice to proceed. The contract itself is 548 days from that construction notice to proceed, and right now we're anticipating a construction completion of mid-January, which mid-January 13, 2027. The contract was awarded for $10,905,000, and the contingency awarded with, approved by the board was at 10%, which is $1,090,500. Right now, we have had few changes in the project itself, but even though there has been pluses and minuses, right now our credits have been much larger than the increases. So our change order has been approved is a negative change order, giving us a credit of $90,527. Requests for information and submittals are being kept today by the team by answering those as quick as possible. Next slide, please. Along with the project, there are also other vendors that we have contracted outside Kiewit Kiewit Construction, and those are basically to provide equipment into the project. Those are PACE, who are a little bit over 47%, since this was a slide that was provided earlier in the month. Universal Filtration, which is a 93% completion. Blue Angel, whose contract, or they have fulfilled their obligations. Arnas Construction, who is the company that is providing the 2 sludge tanks that are going to be replaced as part of the project, and also Advanced Systems Company, which a scope of work has been completed. Next slide. These are pictures of the tanks that Arnas is installing. Currently, we are expecting those tanks to come in the first week of May. And in order to, there was a period of time in which we were having some issues on getting these tanks lined up under the construction. For some reason, there was delays from the vendor itself into the fabrication. So in order to keep up with the quality control as well as with the fabrication and on a schedule that we can rely, we asked AKM to help us, which to take a look and to inspect these tanks in person. This particular task was not part of the original scope of work. However, because we were having concerns in regards to the delivery of these tanks in maintaining a quality control of those, we asked AKM, who has inspectors, to help us on that process. Next slide. So the reason for which we are here is because we are in need to amend construction management services with AKM funding. And to give you basically a summary of what was the anticipation as part of the scope of work and where we are right now, this slide has been added to the previous slide that was presented on the ENO. And this slide basically provides what it was part of the scope of work, which included 4 tasks. And under anticipated schedule in RFP, that was what we, at the time that we issued the request for proposals, knew about the project. There was an estimation that the first task was gonna take a couple of months. Reconstruction services were gonna be between November 2024 and December 2024, that the construction services were gonna be for a year, and that the project closeout services for a couple of months. While some of those tasks are kind of in line, like for example, reconstruction services and maybe closeout, there's also some other tasks that have been taken longer for many reasons. One of those being like the constructability review, which, as you can see, it didn't finish on August 2024, but in fact ended much later. You have a question? Sorry. Okay, sorry. And then our construction services, again, that instead of being 12 months, it has been extended to 18 months. Next slide. So the recommendation for the award, or like basically the amendment that we're looking for is described in this particular slide. But to give you an idea of what the actual award agreement was to AKM, the agreement that was awarded to them was for $688,168 and a contingency of 10%, $68,817. There has been only one amendment that was done at the end of last year, and it was only for time. There was no changes in regards to the money. We haven't issued any cost change. So basically $68,817 is still within that contingency. However, given the fact that there has been additional effort to resolve some of the questions that contractors submit in order to get clarifications, or sometimes variations of the work that they want to do and perform, there's additional reviews and interactions that had to happen with the contractor. So again, those additional efforts to take time by the construction management team and inspection, and they're seeking for an additional $52,920 for those particular tasks. Again, material testing and testing services for a line item of $20,000. That is for typical activities that do happen on the construction management. Unfortunately, as part of this CM request for proposal, we didn't include that. It was included as part of the bid construction package that went to the contractor. And we are seeking also a credit for that particular task that was initially put under the contractor. So, and then the other line item, as I mentioned, we had some concerns about getting the tanks lined up, keeping up with their quality control and on time. And that's an additional line item that we ask AKM to help us in performing those inspections and visits to the vendor, which are up north. So the total request of those changes is $87,920. AKM is not seeking, additional compensation for all the additional time that they have employed into the work. Basically, this is just to get us to finish the project as is currently scheduled in our schedule for January of 2027. Next slide. So one of the homeworks that we were asked by the committee was to look into two options. One option, presenting the overall, the entire amount of the additional $87,920 to include all the line items that were identified as part of the scope of work. And also to look at other option that basically was of a lesser amount. And that lesser amount includes material testing and shop coating inspection services. And that total amount is at $35,000. Next slide, please. So with that, I will read the recommendation. The board authorized one of the following. Authorize the general manager to amend agreement W3137 with AKM for construction management services in the amount of $87,920 for a new total not to exceed amount of $144,905. Or two, authorize the general manager to amend agreement W3137 with AKM for construction management services in the amount of $35,000 for a new total not to exceed amount of $791,985. With that, I will take any questions.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Chair. Can you go to the prior slide, please? 258, page 2. Okay, Has the construction management team, when you, that cost the 52,900, have they already did services to us already for it?
So they have spent a good amount of effort on discussing with the contractor, clarifying with the contractor more than one time, events that they have basically either produced or submitted for. So when a contractor gets a request for clarification and we submit a response and the contractor continues to submit like, let me try one more time, or let me look at this other way, let me look at this other way. That's basically additional effort that is typically not seen as often as we have seen it on this case.
But it's services that's already rendered that
They
they're.
have, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, they're looking into finishing the work
Yeah.
and with the information that we have so far.
Okay, and then, and is this like typical for a CM group to do that?
There's an extent in which too many questions by a contractor becomes more effort than what is expected. So when contractor kind of doesn't want to take the directive that is being given and they tried many other methods and there's now additional meetings that need to be discussed to discuss those line items or like additional discussions into every single fee rate or to the sense it needs to be, it's an extra thing that needs to happen sometimes.
Okay, thanks. Thank you, Chair.
May have missed a couple of things.
Go ahead.
I have to leave. But, the project right now is on schedule. And in terms of the extras that we're considering here, you got the additional materials testing and the, coding inspection, which are above and beyond what was in the scope of work and in the proposal. And so that's $35,000.
Yes.
That's covered under the contingencies. The project has $68,000, I believe, in contingency. Why are we not using just the contingencies that's available?
We can use the contingencies available. However, there's also the issue that in order to finish the work, those are the other services that AKM is providing, need to be included. Now, as construction, in construction, there can be always a factor that we're completely unaware. And what we're asking is, like if we're looking at the 87,920 is to basically agree to add that contingency so we can pay for that and keep a contingency still within the project to be, safe.
But that was the purpose of the contingency, was to cover things like this. And I don't have any, I'm actually gonna move option 2. And I don't have any problem with option 2. I think that that's appropriate, and I think it should come out of the contingency. We don't need to increase the budget at this time to do that. The money's there for doing that. In terms of the additional CM work, one of the things that you mentioned was, for example, the additional work that was taken for the constructability review. In their RFP, they have a pretty extensive commitment to doing constructability review, but I wonder if they did more than they actually deserved. What did they review?
So,
And did they provide you a report? And if so, I'd like to see a copy.
So the actual work when the RFP went out was based on the pre-design report, which is a 30% design. There was no knowledge of how much additional comments were going to be on the 90% design submittal. The 90% design submittal is the one component that came out after AKM had been already awarded, and there were additional comments that were provided into that particular submittal. And then there's typically, once you have those workshops and those comments submitted to the team that is managing the project, those comments are basically provided to the design engineer to address. And then there's the the next, process in which you have to go back and forth and review to make sure that everything is being addressed. So that's basically one of the items that sometimes when those comments are too many of them, might take much longer to get through all of that.
So they basically provided, if I heard you correctly, comments on the 90% design and 100% design.
So do you,
Is that what they reviewed?
they provide comments on the INC?
They reviewed civil, they reviewed.
But the 90%, they reviewed the drawings. There's the civil, there's the structural, there's the electrical, etc. But the design package is the design package. They reviewed the design package for 90% and 100%.
They had the 30% design as the basis for the
Yes.
project, which only had 400 days.
That's for the constructability review. They reviewed the 90% and the 100%. Is that what they did? Well, if not, tell me what they did, please.
So they provided comment.
If I could jump in, I believe the answer is yes. They did provide a constructability review before the bid package went out, but the bulk of the increased time during that period wasn't reviewing the design package. It was responding to the contractors, the awarded contractors' questions about that design package. And so I don't have the specifics, but that's my understanding where the bulk of that specific time went. I would also want to point out that we've made an attempt to clarify those activities in the body of the memo from the committee till now. One point I want to bring up is in table A, if we could go to that. I don't think it's labeled table A, but it's a previous table in the presentation. One more. No, that's the one. Yeah. So this constructability review assessment period definitely increased substantially, and there was a number of activities, as Veronica described, where the construction manager had to respond to the contractor's questions, and we can't guess what types of constructability questions they'll ask once they're contracted and put in place. But the other area I want to make sure that we are clear on, because we did not do a good job clarifying this, and we may have even caused more confusion at the committee meeting, is the construction period for which the CM was contracted for was only 12 months. It was an 18-month contract, but they were only constructed for a 12-month contract because when we contracted the construction manager, it was still at that time believed to be a 12-month construction period. At a later date, the designer determined it was going to be an 18-month construction period. And right now, the current contract with the construction manager is only still for that 12-month period.
I'm not going to belabor the point anymore, but in terms of their proposal and their fee, if we look at the fee breakdown, that what they proposed and basically what's verbatim in the agreement, there is a constructability assessment phase, there's a pre-construction phase, which we typically address with answering questions from the contractor separate from the constructability. So I'm kind of getting mixed answers as to what they really did above and beyond what they proposed to do. And if you read their proposal was pretty aggressive, and they, from what you have represented and from what I read in their proposal, I don't see much of a difference. And they said, I, at this point, believe that they're entitled to the additional compensation for the $35,000, but not for the additional CM work. It's not above and beyond, and we can go down through line by line on every one of the items in their fee and in their scope of work and in their RFP.
Okay, let's get late at night, so we can't have one person do
So,
all the
I
talking. So I'm gonna
agree.
do some talking too. I move that we approve option 2.
I'll second.
Is there a second? I couldn't hear.
I have a question on that, Chair, because
option two, the services that's already rendered, can they receive that funding from the contingency side of it? Are they able to do that?
Yep, one of the approaches that staff was taking in this recommendation originally was to retain the $68,000 contingency. And so working with that and whichever option moves forward today, we can look at what is appropriate for the retention, for the lost my track. Contingency, thank you, and what's appropriate under the new funding.
Yeah, because I mean, for the CNM contractor, I mean, they didn't know if it was going to be 12 to 8 or 18-month project, right? Until that came apparent that it was 18 months. So I think the chair, can we add like an amendment to that on the option one that that the CNM be given an opportunity to their services that's rendered, that it can go to the contingency fund on receiving those funds?
Done? Yeah.
Well,
Are we able to do that as a motion?
the motion that's on the table, I don't know if you got a second.
I don't know. Was there a second to my motion?
Because that's the motion I was gonna make,
Ricky Houston, second.
option two. And I was gonna actually say that use the contingency. If you don't use the contingency, Director Fave, they have the money to do what you're saying already, because you're leaving the $68,000 that's already on the table, and they're not having to use that.
But
We'll have a,
But when you say that, because on the construction side, they can always, the contractors can turn in change orders on future stuff, right? And then if that contingency fund is not available, then what happens after that?
this is a contingency on the CM portion, not on the construction. $68,000 contingency on the
Oh, wait a
CM
minute.
contract.
Yeah, but my understanding, when you mentioned the contingency, when it comes to construction, that's the 68,000, right?
So if there were other issues to arise, then we might come back and resolve to come back.
There is a
To additional funds.
Or additional funds to
But
the,
the idea behind it is we're wanting to retain that 10% for any future issue.
So that's gonna leave us a little bit over $10,000 contingency if there is a change.
okay, yeah, if there's change order or anything that comes up later. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
please call a roll.
Director Gloria Gray, Director Tommy Fabai.
Can you clarify what we're voting on?
My understand,
Option two,
Okay.
with the understanding that I think it's implicit that it's gonna use a contingency to cover the difference.
Okay, go on. Continue on, please.
so Director Tommy Fabai,
Yes.
Director Desi Alvarez,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
President Don Deere.
Yes. Okay, we're now on information calendar, item 9.
Yes, President Deere, item 9A is an item that was heard by the Engineering and Operations Committee. At that time, there was a action that was required, but however, in speaking with legal counsel, it's my understanding that a formal action is no longer required. So we've added this to the information calendar. The item is consideration of the final invoice reconciliation for Veolia operations and maintenance contract. And for the presentation, we have Susanna Lee.
There's no
Manager
action
Engineering.
required.
There's no action required.
Make the presentation brief, please.
Presentation will be now, like, since we already heard from at the ENO, I was just gonna wrap up that now at the recommend, after review by the legal and procurement, like we are authorizing, asking the GM to utilize his authority under section, sorry. Under administration So section 5-1.110 to authorize the payment of the $5,221.27. And staff will be providing a JOA, certification award to issue a PO to pay for that $5,000 difference in the expenditures. So that is the action from staff standpoint, and with that, that remove the board approval requirements. That and conclude my presentation.
Any questions? Let's and just receive and file the information. Thank you very much. And we'll go on now to item 10. There's several reports here. Does anyone want to have individual reports? Any particular one? Is there a motion to receive and file item 10 in its entirety?
I'll move it.
There's a second?
Second.
Okay, for discussion? Please call the roll on that motion.
Director Tommy Favai,
Yes.
Director Scott Houston,
Yes.
President John Deere,
Yes.
and worth noting Directors Gloria Gray and Director Desi Alvarez are not in attendance at this time.
Okay, we'll go on to item 11.
Yes, Mr. President. So staff has provided you with both hard copies and electronic copies of the general manager's report. There are obviously several items throughout, but just want to note a couple of things. One of which I continue to participate in the LA 28 Games Water Council. They did require that I sign an NDA agreement on some of the actions in relation to the venue, though I am available to discuss any of those the activities that we're taking part in with individual directors, if you'd like. Second thing that I want to highlight real quick, I know some of you had the opportunity to attend the South Bay Cities Council of Governments, their 26th Annual General Assembly. Had a chance to attend, and I basically spent some time with the West Basin team out in the vendor hallway, but very well attended. In an alternative site, we've been at Carson Community Center for years and years and years. To do it at a separate site or a different site was very impressive to see, and just how many people attended that event. And outside of that, I just want to say thank you very much to staff for an excellent and very productive April. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions, General Manager? None. Thank you very much. Good report. And we'll go on now to, let's see. I don't believe we have any other activities. I should like to mention for the record that we will adjourn this meeting in memory of Anthony Wright. Anthony was the driver for Director Gray. So this meeting is adjourned. Read this time.
I guess not.
What happened?
AB 1234.
Yeah, there is the one other item was AB 1234 reporting, but if there is none, we can.
Well, let me read.
No legal report.
We don't want this particular group of people to ever have their speech limited. Does any board member have anything to add?
Okay.
Okay, well, we will go back to being right now.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Now it's adjourned.